So Rudy Giuliani, we know, is among the Trump allies asking for a pardon, a preemptive pardon. And we're also getting breaking news about the DOJ now tonight, Professor, investigating a potential bribery scheme for a presidential pardon. Now, we understand this investigation was launched back in August. So do you connect these dots? Yeah.
It seems to me it's very important. Everybody agrees that you can't pardon someone ahead of the time that they actually commit a crime. That kind of preemptive pardon is impossible. And yet, when you are engaged in bargaining with somebody about a possible pardon at a time when they are still engaged in all kinds of shenanigans, you are essentially saying, go ahead, commit crimes if you want, and retrospectively, I'll give you the kind of sweeping pardon that I have now given Michael Flynn. It's an extreme abuse of the pardon power, almost as extreme as the self-pardon that Hannity has now urged Trump to grant himself. It's all an absolute violation of fundamental constitutional principles.
So do you think there could be a quid pro quo here? You use the word bribery, but that, Giuliani's out there now talking about these bizarre conspiracy theories. There's no facts behind any of it. It's made up stuff, right? About Venezuela and Hugo Chavez running a voting company. I mean, is this possible that that's what this is all about? This is a quid pro quo, and there's this, he knows this pardon's coming?
It could well be, but the point is we will know only if whatever blanket pardons are granted are ultimately scraped back by the courts when investigations and indictments are brought by a future Justice Department. Otherwise, the idea that there is a rule of law in this country, that no one is above the law, will simply be an empty slogan. We have to give meaning to it, and the only way we can give meaning to it is to limit the abuse of the pardon power. We've never seen anything remotely like it. The president wielding the pardon power, not as an instrument of mercy, but as a form of cover-up, of continuation of an ongoing obstruction of justice.
So that was a CNN report about how the Department of Justice is alleging that Donald Trump and his White House may be taking cash and other quid pro quo in exchange for pardons. That Donald Trump, the President of the United States, is willing to give people literal get-out-of-jail-free cards in exchange for money and other sorts of favors that can benefit the president and those around him. This is an absolutely major accusation. Now, of course, this has not been fully investigated, but it's obviously something important if the Department of Justice is writing reports about it, especially given that Donald Trump's government oversees the Department of Justice. It also matters that until recently, this report was sealed away and was only opened up after a ruling from a district court judge, meaning there were some people that wanted really, really badly for the American people, to not know about this report, which leads me to believe that there's at least some smoke here. Maybe not fire, but there's some smoke here. And this is awful. And this is connected to a story earlier today. And I was looking for the dots in this story to really see how they connected. But it ties to the story that the New York Times broke this afternoon, where they said that Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump have been discussing a preemptive pardon for Giuliani, which basically means that before Donald Trump leaves the White House, he will issue a sort of universal preemptive pardon for Giuliani, basically meaning that anything he's done for Trump while he's been president will basically be approachable by legal officials. Anything at the federal jurisdiction. Basically a preemptive get out of jail free card. This isn't somebody who, was charged with something and sentenced and the president feels the person has served enough or it was unjust and they pardon that one particular offense. This is saying anything you've done for me, the slate is clean. And as the interviewer noted there, as the guest noted, that is basically the president saying to people like Giuliani and those like him, do whatever you want. As long as it's federal, as long as the laws you're breaking are federal, I will get you out of it because I'm going to give you a preemptive pardon. Basically, Donald Trump is giving people around him, maybe he's selling this right to people as well, the ability to commit crimes without facing consequences. And so you wonder, why is Rudy Giuliani making a fool of himself, hair dye sweating down his face, looking like an absolute idiot every day for the past few weeks? At first we thought, well, he's getting paid $20,000 a day. That's a lot of money. Maybe a lot of people would sweat a little hair dye to make $20K a day. But then when you really think about it and you're thinking, okay, what sort of shady things has Rudy Giuliani done? And what sort of, protection does he need to get out of those shenanigans? And so maybe he's willing to do whatever and say whatever to help Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has his back with basically the world's greatest get out of jail free card. This is a troubling moment here. And there's a lot of debate about whether the president can even do this. Can he give a preemptive pardon? There's even talks from Sean Hannity and others that Trump should or maybe will pardon himself, pardon his children, pardon all those people that are willing to give him any sack of cash. Is it legal? Some cases we don't know. But the problem is, of course, that Donald Trump has strong control of the Supreme Court now. 6 conservatives to only 3 liberals. And it's not guaranteed that the conservatives will vote to uphold Trump's shady pardons. But remember that Amy Coney Barrett, the latest pick, wouldn't say that the president wouldn't be able to pardon himself. She wouldn't stand against that. She didn't say yes, he can, but she didn't say no, he can't. And I think the reason is she doesn't want to admit that there's a good chance that if this does come to the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett will let the president do whatever he wants with regard to his pardon power. This is really a clear moment for American democracy, because it's not just about the election, which is over, but it's also about the conduct of the president and the sanctity of democratic norms. Systems like the American system rely on good faith actors. And right now, it is a crisis that the president is the worst faith actor I've seen in modern American history.